Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 29th October today, and in this video we are going to solve the important prelims based questions from these important articles which are mentioned here. You know, before we will start our discussion, before we will start solving the questions, I would like to give the brief introduction about the video so that you will get more connected with it. In this video, we discuss three types of questions. The first set of questions which we discuss here are taken from the current affairs topics. We take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We break them down and we derive the prelims based questions from those articles so that it will give you the idea how the questions may be asked in the exam. So this is the first set of questions which we discuss here. The another set of questions are taken from the static portion. If we had started discussing the static topics here and we had started with Indian polity. Right now we are discussing the fundamental rights, and in fundamental rights we are going to discuss article 27, which is the part of the freedom of religion. So in this we are going to discuss article 27 and derive a prelims based question from this article. So after that, after discussing the static topic questions, the current affairs based questions, we'll shift our approach to the last part of our discussion where we will discuss few previous year questions in which we will get the idea how the UPSC actually asks the questions in the exam and what can be the ways and methods by which we can solve these questions, and also how we can implement this knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell about the video, what we discuss here. Now, before we will start our discussion, before we will start solving the questions, I would like to request you guys few things. First of all, please do watch the full video. It is going to be very much important for you. As I already mentioned, what are the sources of questions which we discuss here. So it is very much important for you to watch the full video to solve these questions and get as much information as possible, because it is the same source which the UPSC faculties or examiners use for setting your papers. So there are high chances that if not the questions, at least the statements may coincide, or if not the statements but the concepts from where the questions would be asked would be almost same. So it is better for you to watch the full video. And another thing which I would like to request you guys, please do note down these questions somewhere. It is going to be important for you. When your exams would be near, at that time you would want to revise the current affairs, you would want to revise the static portion, but the time won't permit you because you have to go through the lot of books. And if you have these questions with you at that time, it will definitely help you in relieving your tensions that time, because by revising these questions it will definitely connect you with the current affairs as well as the static portion. So trust me, please do note down these questions. It is going to be very much important for you. Now, without any delay, let's have a look at the topics from where we had taken today's questions. The first article which was in the news today is about the expenditure of elections. As we know that US is heading towards the presidential elections, and if we talk in nowadays scenarios, the contesting of elections is not that easy. It has become very expensive. If we look at the data, the election, what was the election expenditure in US, it is said that it would be $16 billion, or we can say 1,36,000 crore rupees. And if we look same with respect to the India, it has been 1 lakh crore in the 2019 elections. So we can directly say here that the contesting elections is not that easy now, because it needs a lot of expenditures. It is very much expensive now. But here, why this article is important for you, here were few points mentioned which I think is very much important for your prelims. Here the article says that the Election Commission of India has put some limit on the candidates in India. Above that they can't spend. For example, if a candidate is contesting for a Lok Sabha election, then if he belongs to the he belongs to the larger state, then the maximum amount of money which he can spend is 95 lakh per candidate, and for the smaller state the maximum amount is 75 lakh for smaller states for per candidate. So this is the limit given by the Election Commission of India with respect to the candidates, and with respect to the state legislative assemblies for the bigger states it is 40 lakh per candidate, and for smaller states it is 28 lakh per candidate. So this is, I think this information is very much relevant for your prelims exam, and I think you should know it. And also one thing which I want to mention here, that there has been no limit put on the political parties how much they can spend. No such limit has been put on them by the Election Commission of India. So in nutshell, elections are become very much expensive, and right now if we will look it at a scenario, a common man, it is becoming very much difficult for a common man to to contest an election. And also, if we will look at the limits given by the government, given by the Election Commission of India, how much money a candidate can spend, but still there is the difference of huge money which has been spent in the election. If we will talk about the 2019 election, huge amount of money has been spent in that election. So here the author says that there is definitely this nexus between the cooperatives and corporates and the election and the political bodies. Corporates, they invest in their elections, and it becomes then unholy nexus that if I will matlab ki main aapko pay kar raha hu now, you have to work for me. So there are lots of drawbacks with respect to the huge expenditures of huge expenditure in elections, and there are lots of drawbacks with respect to the corporates, with respect to the private entities, as they are investing in the elections, they are investing in the political parties, and it can eventually harm the democracy of the country. So this is the concept which was given in the article. What are the important points? As I mentioned, that which is relevant for your exam is the limit which the Election Commission of India has put on the Lok Sabha elections per candidate and the state legislative assembly per candidate. And with respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. So this was the first article which was in the news. We will solve a prelims based question on that. Then the another article here, it talks about the challenges faced by Indian fertilizers. A report from UP came that they have the stock of up to 10 days stock of fertilizers only, मतलब कि उनको 10 दिन का ही fertilizer का stock रहा है अभी मौजूद. So what is the issue with the fertilizers? We need to understand one thing here, that India is hugely dependent on the import of fertilizers, especially potash, DAP, and about urea. 20% of urea we import from different countries. So India is hugely dependent on fertilizers, and right now the conditions, global political conditions, like the Israel-Hamas war, like the Russia-Ukraine war, it has highly impacted the prices of the petroleum products, which are eventually used in the development of the fertilizers. So because of these issues, the rate of there is huge, India is facing huge challenges with respect to the fertilizers. Now, as we know that we have the limited stock of the fertilizers, what India will do now, what the government will do, they will definitely, the prices will definitely rise, and they will have to go for the subsidies. But subsidies are not the solution. They are just a kind of freebies given to the farmers. Now the government will try to protect their elections by giving these subsidies. But here the article, what it is trying to say, that the government should look beyond this. They should incentivize the private companies more, and we should be as much we should be as much, we should start developing the fertilizers very much in India. We should be incentivizing the companies with respect to it, and we should reduce this dependency of fertilizers from on other countries. So this is what the article here says. Here we need to know what are the fertilizers which are important for us, like potash, urea, DAP, and where from we get the potash, as we are 100% dependent on that. What are the countries which import potash to us? So this is what we need to get from this article, and by solving the questions we will get that information too. After that, there is another article. It talks about the it talks about the underrepresentation of women in Indian judiciary. In this article there was a report which was mentioned in this article. It is about the state of judiciary report which is published by the Supreme Court. It talks about when it comes to the lower judiciary, the appointment rate of the women judges is very high, but it is very much hard for them to sustain there. It has been the data is showing that the appointment rate is very high, as it is showing that 36.3% in district judiciaries are women. The appointment is women, but it is very hard for them to retain themselves because of the patriarchal nature of the society, that they have to give birth to the child, they have to take care of the children and all that stuff. Because of all this stuff, they are not able to continue their term, or if they will continue, but they are least they are least involved in it. And also it is said that according to this report, only 4% of the Supreme Court judges of all time are women. From the time when the Supreme Court came to the existence till now, only 4% of the judges are women till now. And one thing we should know here, that there till now there has been no woman who has been the Chief Justice of India. So from here, this article, what we get, it is the state of judiciary report, which we need to know which organization or who is the organization which gives us this report. After that, there is another article. It talks about the center works against the illegal digital payment gateways, as we had seen yesterday also. And in this, it basically talks about the mule accounts, how they are misused by these cyber criminals. What are here? We need to know what are these mule accounts. For example, it is any account which is used by some other person for its benefits. They can incentivize the other person, or they can force them illegally. They do the money laundering acts with respect to that account, or they will they will involve they will they will do huge transactions with that account. It is not mentioned, it is not of their own. They use the account of some other person, they use it illegally, or they will give that person some incentives with respect to that, and they will do their business with respect to that account, because they don't want to share their identity. So this is the concept of mule account. With respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. Now, after that, there is another article. It talks about the Justice K.S. Pothuswamy, as unfortunately he passed away. He is a very esteemed judge in the Indian judiciary. Because of him, we got the right to privacy as the fundamental right. And with respect to this, we'll solve. It is very unfortunate news, but what becomes important here is Article 21 and the right to privacy. So that becomes important for our prelims exam. After that, there is another update from the Odisha, as they release female tiger in Simplipal to check inbreeding. The inbreeding is an issue in which in the tiger reserves, as they inbred between close relatives, these tigers which are very close close relatives to them. So because of that, their genes get distorted. And with respect to this, to curb this issue, the Odisha, they had they are very much involved in it, and they are taking the tigers from the Thodoba Andheri Tiger Reserve, and they are trying to mix them, so to control this inbreeding. So this is the article here, what is important here, that where from they are getting these tigers. What is the issue? The issue is of the inbreeding. Because of that, the genes are getting distorted. After solving these articles with respect to the current affairs, after solving the questions related to these articles, we will shift our approach towards the static portion, and in it we will solve the article 27 and some previous year questions. So this is in a nutshell about today's news articles. So by this, let's try to solve the questions one by one and get more idea about that. Here the first question, it is about the Election Commission of India. It says the Election Commission of India regulates the maximum expenditure that candidate can incur during Lok Sabha elections. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the expenditure limit for candidate contesting in the Lok Sabha elections? So what is the expenditure limit given by this Election Commission of India? First statement, the current expenditure limit for a Lok Sabha candidate is 70 lakh to 90 lakh. 100% correct. 90 lakh is upper limit for the larger states and 70 lakh for the smaller states. Then the second option, the expenditure limit is the same for all states and union territories across the country. No, it is not same. As we are seeing, it is different for the richer and poorer states. And the third statement, candidates must submit their election expenditure account to the Election Commission of India within 30 days of the declaration of result. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are option 1 and 3 only, and from the code given below, the correct code is option C. So from this article, we got the gist of the news which was in today's newspaper. By solving this question, we had got the gist of the news article which was in today's newspaper. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve it. Here the question says, India is significantly dependent on imports for its potash requirements, which are crucial for agriculture. 100% correct. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the India's potash dependency and its import sources? Yes, 100% is 100% dependent on potash imports. So with respect to this, let's see the statements and try to solve that. First statement, India primarily imports potash from Canada, Russia and Israel. Correct. Second statement, potash is used mainly for the cultivation of cereals and pulses in India. Correct. Third statement, India produces majority of its potash requirements domestically. Totally incorrect. India is highly dependent on the potash imports. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and 2 only. With this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question says, State of Judiciary report recently seen in news is published by whom? Is it Law Commission of India? No. Is it the Ministry of Law and Justice? No. Is it Supreme Court of India? 100% correct. So with respect to this question, we came to know that the report, namely State of Judiciary report, it is published by the Supreme Court of India. From here only we got to know that what is the percentage of women when they are getting recruited in the lower judiciary, and why it is getting difficult for them to sustain or retain that position. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve it. Here the question is about the mule accounts. Let us see what does the question say. Mule accounts are often exploited in cyber frauds and financial crimes. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the mule accounts and their implications? In the first slide we discussed what these mule accounts are. These are the accounts which belong to some other person and used by some other person for the financial transactions. He can either forcefully use it or give some incentives to that person. And what is the reason for using these mule accounts? So that he won't give his identity, he won't give his financial identity, that he will keep his identity in privacy. So here what are the statements? Mule accounts are bank accounts used by fraudsters to receive and transfer illegally obtained funds. 100% correct. The use of mule accounts is primarily restricted to money laundering activities and does not involve any other forms of cybercrime. No, it is not primarily restricted to money laundering, even though money laundering is the major issue related to mule accounts, but it is not restricted to it. Third statement, financial institutions are required to implement measures to detect and prevent the use of mule accounts in order to comply with anti-money laundering regulations. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only. With this, let's move to the another question and try to solve it. Here the question is about the right to privacy, as we discussed that how about the demise of K.S. Pothuswamy, Justice K.S. Pothuswamy. Here the question says the right to privacy has been a significant topic in Indian constitutional law. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the right to privacy in India? First statement, the Supreme Court of India declared the right to privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution in 2017. 100% correct. Second, the right to privacy is an absolute right and cannot be subjected to any restriction. No, it is not an absolute right. It can be subjected to restriction which are defined by the Constitution, by the judiciary, by the judgment. Third statement, the right to privacy is recognized in various international human rights instruments which influence its interpretation in India. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option B. With this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the Simply Pearl Tiger Reserve. As why it was in news, because the Odisha government has introduced the tigers from the Tadoba Andheri Tiger Reserve to check the inbreeding. So here the question says Simplipal Tiger Reserve located in Odisha is known for its rich biodiversity and conservation efforts. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Simplipal Tiger Reserve? First statement, Simplipal was declared a tiger reserve in 2006 and is part of the larger Simplipal Biosphere Reserve. Correct. Second statement, the reserve is home to several endangered species including Royal Bengal tigers and the Indian elephant. Correct. Third, Simplipal Tiger Reserve is primarily a moist deciduous forest, 100% correct ecosystem, and experiences heavy rainfall during the winter months. No, this is incorrect. During monsoon months, so this question becomes incorrect. So with respect to this statement, the correct options are option 1 and 2 only. With this, let's move to the another part of today's discussion, which is this solving the static topic question. Here today's static topic question is about Article 27 of the Indian Constitution, in which we are discussing the freedom of religion. So in this, let us see what does the Article 27 say. Article 27 of the Indian Constitution addresses a specific aspect related to the taxation, 100% correct. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Article 27? Statement 1. Article 27 states that no person shall be compelled to pay any tax for the promotion or maintenance of any religion. 100%. Religion taxes are not allowed in our country. No institution which is under the control of any religion can compel you to pay any tax for the promotion of any religion. It is totally illegal. Second statement, this article is part of the fundamental rights enshrined in part 3 of the Constitution. Correct. Third statement, Article 27 is applicable to all forms of taxation. Totally incorrect. Only to this taxation that you cannot be compelled to pay any tax for the promotion of any religion. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are option 1 and 2 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option B. Now with this, let's move to the last part of our today's discussion, which is solving previous year questions. Here the first previous year question is, with which one of the following movements is the slogan do or die associated? It is very categoric. It is a Quit India movement. It was given by Mahatma Gandhi in 1942. Do or die slogan. It became famous with Quit India movement. So the correct option for this question is option D. Now coming to the last question of today's discussion, it says who founded the Ahmedabad Textile Labor Association? Directly Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi founded the Ahmedabad Textile Labor Association. So with this, we had completed today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.